typically run this.
Now,
All right, 6 o'clock, let's call this Community Engagement Commission, Wednesday, May 17th, 2023 to order. Roll call, Robin Beckdahl.
Here.
Okay. Bill Norman.
here,
Jennifer Casaka.
Here.
Summer Darrow, I'm here. Cynthia Godinez.
I haven't heard from that.
Okay, Aaron Asmus.
Here.
Mark Saba.
Here,
Can we,
I make a motion that we excuse Cynthia from today's meeting unless she shows up later.
second that?
Here.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Who seconded? Jen.
Jennifer did.
Jennifer.
All right. There, she's excused. Approvals for the, minutes from April 19th. Anyone have any, thing to say about that?
Move that they be approved as written.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, passes, approved. Public comments, do we have anyone, today other than Robin up there? Any public comments here or just our presentation?
No other participants.
Okey doke, and,
Tom Sullivan, shut up.
Oh, Tom Sauber.
come on, okay,
Kick him off. Yeah.
we give everyone a fair chance, we have a presentation today, presentation from Nancy Hill and Mara Crowell. Great. All those in favor said, "Look."
Good evening.
You want me to turn on the PowerPoint?
Yes, please. Okay, is it on? Yeah, okay. My name is Nancy Hill and with me is Mara Crowell, and we are here to talk about dog parks. They are always a hot topic. Matter of fact, you probably all saw recently in the Spokesman Review about the city of Spokane and losing an official park and looking, and they just, their park board just approved a new one, I guess, on Upriver Drive. So it's something that resonates with folks. So our purpose today is, I'm currently the chair of the City of Liberty Lake Parks and Arts Commission. And we have spoken in our commission about off-leash dog parks a couple years ago and gave a presentation to council. And it's not prioritized on the council list, but it's on the council list. And that's kind of where we are. And also on the city commission, the Parks and Arts Commission, it's on our list, but we don't have, obviously, it prioritized because council doesn't have it numbered. But the subject has come up in the community, and can you make that full screen?
I'm trying to get to your first slide, which is not showing up.
Can you go up one more?
I'm trying.
Okay, well, we don't need the first slide. That's a cover slide. Let's
Hey,
start.
That's not
here.
your first slide, though.
Pardon me? There is one more slide, but it just has a picture of a dog. So I'm going to give you a little bit of education about dog parks and then what's going on in our general Spokane County and Northern Idaho community about them. City of Liberty Lake, you guys all live in the city. I don't need to tell you, it's a very dog-loving community. I call it the Labradoodle capital of the world because many of the dogs that are being walked down the street are doodles. 43% of the households do own a dog, according to a Washington State survey. And of course, dogs like to be exercised, and it's good for the owners to be out with their dogs. Next slide. Off-leash dog parks are definitely a community destination, and it's not just for the dog. I've been to dog parks where there's Susie, that's the dog, and her mom, and they have a conversation, and it's part of a growing community with an interest as we look at pets more as part of our family instead of something that's just out in the backyard. Dog parks can be built as a standalone park or incorporated into existing larger parks. Next slide, please. I don't know what happened to all my cute pictures. They're not showing up.
I don't know.
Oh, well, I have cute pictures. They would be really nice to see because I do have a lot of examples. Anyway, choosing the right place is a paramount concern, and that's been playing out in the news lately here with the city of Spokane. And a lot of times if you go with an existing park and you find a place to put a pocket dog park in that area, it's usually better than going out in some unproven area where people get worried. And sometimes people think that a dog park is gonna devaluate the neighborhood, but actually more and more people that are moving to areas are wanting dog parks. And it can actually enhance your property value. And people think, oh, there's gonna be barking. Well, dogs bark when they're bored. And at dog parks, they might bark because you didn't throw the ball fast enough, but they're usually open, only during the daylight hours, and owners are right there with them. It's not a place like you check your dog in and leave. You're there with your dog and monitoring it. Fencing is important. You always need fencing. The only time you don't have fencing is somebody gives you 50 acres and you can have medallion markers, but we don't have that here in Liberty Lake. I don't think there's any extra 50 acres available. So you need at least a 5-foot fence. A double gated entry system, because you're likely going to be near a road, so they come in to the first area on the leash, take it off, and then go out into the off leash area. Separate space for large and small dogs is pretty critical. You don't necessarily want a Great Dane playing with a Chihuahua. So typically, if you have a piece of property, it'd be 1/3 and 2/3, dividing up the size of the dog. Okay. So additional infrastructure, water is of course very important. Dogs need to drink, parking, restrooms. That's why if you pick an existing area where there's already infrastructure, then that's a big bonus because you don't have the expense of, putting in the dog park fencing in that structure and installing restrooms in the parking lot. You need shade, you need waste disposal. There's pluses of benches, picnic tables, agility equipment, a dog wash station. There's all levels of dog parks, and you can spend as much money as you want or as little as you want. But the key thing is, of course, the fence, the water, and then having the parking and restroom area. Next slide. Maintenance plan. People think, oh, it's going to be a maintenance nightmare. Well, we give the dog owners the tools to pick up after themselves. A lot of times you can get volunteer work crews for spring and fall cleanup. Liberty Lake staff, if we didn't have one in the city, would be responsible, but it would be an ideal opportunity to set up a Friends of the Dog Park group and let them handle the lion's share of the work. And if it's constructed of the correct materials, then you don't really have a lot of maintenance. Okay. The rules, I think we don't have.
I don't know why your picture's not showing that.
Okay. The rules, Spokane County Code, well, first of all, the city of Liberty Lake contracts with Scraps for their animal protection services. And so Spokane County Code is the dog ordinance for the city of Liberty Lake. There is a leash law. And there is a special section for rules in dog parks. So you can't take unaltered animals to dog parks. You can't take animals that have been deemed potentially dangerous or dangerous to dog parks. There are rules in place that if there are violations in dog parks, owners will be held accountable and can be cited. And it's interesting that, we do have a leash law. And I noticed on the police department page the other day, they were posting that leash law and a few other reminders about aggressive dogs. And that's because there's been a lot of complaints, I believe, coming in. I've seen them on the Liberty Lake community pages about animals that are off leash. I know I walk my dog on a leash through a city park every day. And countless times my dog's been charged at by off leash dogs because we don't have any off leash area in the city. The nearest off leash dog park is the Patricia Simone Laughing Dog Park, which is located at State Line right by I-90. Ironically enough, that's the old Washington State rest stop, and the dog park is located in the dog area of that old rest stop. Little known fact of trivia.
Yeah.
Next slide. Okay, so where do we go from here? There's been some research, and Mara is going to come up in a minute and sort of tell you the history of when the subject first came up in our area. We can explore funding sources, private and public. community input. Is this something the community would be interested in? Which is kind of one reason I'm standing here today, because you guys have your finger on the pulse of the community. And of course, we need city council support. So they would need to know that that's something that the community wanted them to prioritize and maybe assign a slot in the strategic plan. Next slide. So what's happening in our area? This list here is some of the current dog parks. The city of Spokane is just closing the South Hill one. They're going to make a small pocket park there, and then now they're adding the Upriver Park. Spokane Valley, if you get a chance, where Splashdown is, Mission Park there, they have a beautiful, architecturally designed park. It's a top of the line park. And I did have some pictures of it, but we probably won't be able to see them. And then Riverfront Park in collaboration with the Spokane Humane Society on the North Bank, I think they would call it. They're actually putting one in there around that old pavilion that was kind of a little scary to go near because it was under the trees. And that's going to be kind of reclaimed and going to be a dog park in Riverfront Park. So a lot of stuff is happening right now in our area. Next slide. In northern Idaho, the city of Coeur d'Alene are rock stars. Their Atlas Park, which I haven't been to yet, has a river access for swimming, which is pretty cool. And when I was doing the research, when I presented to council, I guess it was 2 years ago now, I was surprised that even the city of Rathdrum had a really cool old dog park. So everybody's kind of getting in the groove. Next slide. So, where do we go from here? Explore funding. Well, we kind of covered that. A lot of times you can get individual donors or businesses that may sponsor some of that. There may be some grant opportunities. I haven't really taken the time to explore too much because it really needs to rise up on the list before we're going to spend a lot of time on it. But I wanted you folks to know that it's been on the community radar a little bit, and we need to find out what next step would be. Go ahead. So we could look at surveys, farmers market questions. I know you have the whiteboard if people put the tally marks by if they.
Well, we're more sophisticated than that now. Seriously.
That's like Saturday, right? Yeah.
You'll see new things on Saturday.
Yes.
So, well, I've heard about the new tools. I don't know if that's gonna be. But, there's ways in which, we can poll the community, and Mara will talk a little bit more about some ideas on that. Next slide. So again, community input, talking to council, if we get feedback from the community. Next slide. Okay, we'll just can it because all the rest I was showing you some pictures of the dog park. So we'll just give that up. But
I will send everybody a copy of her presentation.
Thank you.
It has the version too.
Good.
Robin needs dog pictures especially.
We need a picture.
I don't know why they're not here yet.
there's been one walk in there and my grandpa, so I was really looking forward to that.
Well, we'll get them an email now.
Yeah.
Just imagine,
I can't, I need real dog.
Visual.
I need real dogs.
So I just wanted to give you an introduction to dog parks, what's going on in the area, that there's been a little history of it, but before, I gave the council presentation that got it on their list 2 years ago, but Mara has some even longer history to the subject, so.
Mara, do you still need the PowerPoint?
No, I'm good, thank you. I don't have any fun stuff, sorry. Yeah, so like Nancy said, actually prior to the pandemic, myself and Leslie had presented to the council, which was, a handful of years ago. It made, she had actually put together a petition that got a lot of great signatures. However, it just sort of phased away with the pandemic. But to be honest with you, I don't know where that paperwork is at, but we did present to council, but again, it just didn't go anywhere. So now that things have certainly settled, with partnering with Nancy, I mean, who better than to partner with in respect to the dog park here in our city? We're hoping that we can really gain some traction again and get the community involved, see what kind of interest there is. I mean, I can tell you, from my shop, I started to actually put together, and Mark, I wanted to show this to you because you've kind of been one of my points of contact in respect to some feedback that we've already received from the community, and being kind of the hub for our animals, as Jen and Aaron and Mark know, I think I have a pretty good pulse on what the community wants to see, and also be a resource to, keep this going, get the traction going, and hopefully get a dog park in place. Jennifer Camp also gave us, Nancy and I, we had met with her and gave us several different maps of potential locations. However, we just need to get it, we need to get it in front of council before we start to select any piece of property. But I think Nancy really covered all of it. I am happy. We met with Greenstone. I tapped into Rudine as far as private ownerships, but Greenstone said they were willing to help finance, and so did Rudine. But as a lot of being the hub for the animals, I'm happy to finance it as well. And there's lots of things to think about. If it's on city property, we want return on investment, are we gonna charge? There's so many things to look at, but we just need to take this step by step, but keep the momentum going. So that's what we're hoping to get from you guys with Farmers Market starting. And can you remind me the name of your platform that you're using for questioning?
So Zen City, is that what we're?
Zen City, yeah.
Zen City, okay. So yeah, we're hoping to get your help with that. And I'm happy to continue, surveying people in my shop as well. But we certainly would love your guys' help with getting some input from our city. Yeah, do you want, Mark, I'm just gonna pass these to you, and if you
Okay.
just wanna, see a sampling of some of, the surveys, and then if you wanna use the same questions, you're welcome to do
Sure,
that.
we can take a look at that.
Okay, great.
So one quick question, within the documentation you're about to pass out, are the potential locations listed in there?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have a question. What size of a park are you looking at minimum?
Well, it's interesting, the Pocket Park and McEwen Park in Coeur d'Alene is like 0.25 acres. That is the smallest one in the area, and then you have others that are
Up to
many acres. Patricia Simone Laughing Dog Park at statewide is 3.5 acres, and you can really stretch your legs. But even a small area, I've noticed even apartment complex or fencing and swales and stuff now. And I think that's a little bit what they did in Nebraska. They took a corner of a park. But one suggestion, because it is hard to find unoccupied available land. And I know that the city council is getting ready to go out for a master plan for town square. And as part of that design process, you can always have add-alts to those. And quite possibly they could ask whoever they hire to do the layout, if they could pencil in a pocket dog park as Liberty Lakes first venture into that, because you already have the infrastructure, as I was mentioning before, and you have a park that's really not located near any residential areas. The closest thing are the Big Trout Apartments and then the RV park. So that's a possibility. There's kind of that dead space between the Farmers Market parking lot and Appleway. There's a big long rectangle slice, which would make a perfect little pocket park. But that's something that could be, one design could show that. Other than that, we have 3 other parks that we could look at. But a first glance at a park, it might be a good idea to do a pocket park in an existing one where you already have some infrastructure and see where it went from there. The other thing I want to do while I'm here, Parks and Arts Commission, we're working on our strategic plan. Now I'm putting on my Parks and Arts hat for real. And part of our goals is to understand the pulse of the community and what they want to see in parks and arts. The Parks and Arts Commission is relatively new. I've been on it, I think, this is my third year, and I believe that they were there 2 or 3 years before I joined, so it's, 5 years-ish. And because of the pandemic and all that, Parks and Arts has not had a lot of public feedback. We did have the article in the Splash, that was in the fall, and I did receive some emails and some calls from citizens, from that, and that was the first time since I've been on the commission, we really heard much from the public. So I'm hoping that possibly, 1 or 2 of you folks might want to attend our next Parks and Arts Commission meeting, and we can maybe chat a little bit how we can work together on, getting the public involved in what our mission is.
I'd love to. When is it?
When is it? We're the first Monday of the month, so I have to I'll get my calendar.
What time's your meeting?
4 o'clock.
I mean, I don't see why we couldn't add this to our current list of questions and our city hall update. I mean, our us going to, city council updates. I mean, but it's already been one of our sort of floating questions already. We've been asking people, our last bout of farmers market had dog park stuff on that, and I feel like we did get a lot of interest in that, and just talking to people in the community.
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of interest already, so I certainly don't see any issue with us just, putting a little more effort towards that right now, which is already there, so I don't think it's trying to get it on our agenda too much. I think it's already kind of there.
I would appreciate that, yeah. And Nancy and I have met.
Did you talk to anybody?
Okay, sorry about that. Nancy and I have, had many sidebar conversations and coffee with folks that are interested in talking and, even, as we get further down the road with this, want to be on committees and so on. So we invite any at any time. So please know our doors open
And not that we need it this second, but are you collecting those names, numbers for people who are potentially interested in?
That's.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
Mark has those in front of them. That's
Great.
just a sampling of some of them.
So we
And
can
it's-
start to reference some group of potential friends of dog park.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is you'll read in some of the surveys that, people right now, like Nancy said, so many people are just allowing their dogs to run free on schoolyards and, different situations. And, it's almost like we're waiting for potentially an accident to happen. And that's why we really want to elevate, a dog park is hopefully a priority for our city. Because if Rathdrum can have one, we can have one. We are the city of Liberty Lake. Yeah, so anyways, our door is always open if anybody wants to come and chat with us.
So what you're looking from us now is a survey basically to gather information, whether they yay or nay for a dog park. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, and any other comments that they may want to add,
Okay,
because I mean,
okay.
you'll see those
Yeah, I see
all
that,
yeses,
yeah.
but there are certainly folks
I
that,
see a no here.
oh, well, I think it's no, do they live in the city? Because and you can alter that, maybe it's not.
It is.
You're
Yep,
welcome to
out.
alter that however you feel it's appropriate
Okay,
for, for your questioning.
because this would be, something that we would ask everybody, because it would, it wouldn't be just Liberty Lake residents, it would be open to everybody.
Right,
for the most part.
exactly.
Yeah,
And I do know that the Unleashed Academy in Spokane Valley, she came into the shop and did express to me that she has a dog park. I just found this out. She has a dog park in the back end of her street facing building. She asked me a lot of questions I didn't have answers to. However, she did share with me that hers is monitored all the time and that they do charge a fee. So again, there's a lot of things we need to look at because we want to, we need to potentially, if it's a city property, I would like to, what am I saying? Reimburse. What's that? Reimburse. Yeah, or, just some.
return on your investment.
Their ROI, yeah,
Alright.
exactly. Something to that effect. But again, that's, conversation certainly down the road.
And since this also.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
This is great. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there tonight. did you happen to have, I believe you said that you had some other information on previous surveys that you had done and completed?
You know, I will get a hold of Leslie. She had petitions, she really had pages of signatures. But again, pre-pandemic, and I'm not even sure if she's got that paperwork, still at hand. I would assume she will, and I'll, reach out to her tomorrow to see. Would you like to see those?
That would probably help in formulating how we're going to put together the survey and really what means and methods that we use. You know, one is the survey for the Zen City, and then we would naturally have to use other means and methods and include those too. So we get a real broad, we have that diversity.
And you did present to city council in the past, right? So we probably have that on record somewhere to use as,
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we did present,
and make it easier to pick up where we left off a little bit.
Sure. And did you present as well? Yeah, Nancy presented as well.
And what was their temperature at that time? Their response? Was it open arm? Was it?
It was a very short, no, it was, we made zero traction, even with all of the signatures, unfortunately.
Out of my own curiosity, Mara, is, obviously you wouldn't have an official bid because it's so early in the process, but what cost? I know there's a wide variety based on, you know, what location you pick and how much infrastructure is there, but kind of what's the general idea based off of your current research?
Really good question. Actually, Nancy has done a lot of research on costs.
That's fine. I didn't put I shared some information and a lot of the costs, like, I'm the retired executive director of SCRAP. And so I know way too much. But when we did the one at State Line, we just had to buy fencing in it. That cost like 25 grand, but that was a number of years ago. For example, I believe the city of Spokane Valley spent about 200,000 on there. But that is an absolute deluxe park with every bell and whistle in it. If you go over there, you'll be like, whoa, this is really nice. So it really depends, you know, what kind of money you're gonna put into it. And, you know, if you can get some donors or, I don't know about grant money right now, but when I presented to city council, which would have been around 2 years ago, I would say, and that was during the pandemic, and it was Zoom, and everyone was on Zoom. And so there was, you know, there's never really back and forth when you're on Zoom like that. And that did allow them to they did add it to their list after that.
Yeah.
But that was about as far as it went, just because of the nature of the times, I think.
I just had two quick questions. One was, just briefly looking at the locations. Were these all things that if you're in this area of Liberty Lake would be driving to, or were there any other potential locations or thoughts other than, you know, again, existing parks that people would be walking to, just trying to solve that off leash issue, because I feel like a lot of people who are doing off leash aren't necessarily the same, you know, people would get in the car and do the next thing. They're looking for like just getting people out right now. So is that existing parks right now, or was there any of the locations I didn't notice that were potentially in here, not attached to parks?
I don't think any of those locations are attached to parks.
Right, I understand. So these are all locations that people would drive to if they're living in this area,
Oh,
based on like
gotcha.
where they kind of are, right?
Basically.
Okay, great.
Correct.
And then second, what challenges do you think that we're maybe gonna come up against people who are naysayers, and you got any good answers for us to throw out at them while we're surveying people?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges, well, let's even talk about, where the goats, you know, have been. You look at that piece, I mean, that's not a bad piece of land, however, it abuts, you know, residential. It's a pretty poor looking fence, and I'm sure I could get a donor to rebuild that fence for them, but, I totally forgot the question.
What
I am
challenges do
happy
you
to
think
take medicine from it.
just when we're surveying people more face to face at farmers market, what do you think the people who are not, because the people who want a dog park, they want a dog park. The other people that are gonna, you know, be up in arms about it, what have you come up against with that, and any answers or potential solutions that we could throw out at them, or
Yeah, it's
Suggestions.
typically not in my backyard. I guess that's why I was talking about the fence. But like Nancy said, dogs bark. We can certainly limit the hours of, the dog, when the dog park is open. So I would have to say the barking is, I think, the largest concern of residents. I don't know, have you heard other?
What I would say is responsible people are the ones that go to dog parks. So if they're gonna police themselves, they're gonna pick up after their dogs, they're gonna be respectful, and they're gonna follow the rules because they appreciate it as an asset. The biggest thing is not in my neighborhood, and I would say, we would be looking for a central location that, you would benefit everyone, and that it is not open 24/7. And dogs, when they're happy, they don't do the barking that my next door neighbors don't. It's a big difference. But the biggest thing is it's responsible people that go to off-leash dog parks. And, it creates, an energy in that area and can actually reduce crime, reduce, off-leash incidents in the city, and just be really beneficial even if you don't have a dog.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just because I know a lot of us, I mean, you know how it is, you put something up on the community page or anything and you have the, you have that. So it's always good for us to be armed with, what we're gonna be up against and that kind of stuff.
Well, and if we should decide, to charge some type of a fee, not everybody is going to be interested in that either. And so maybe you attract more of the responsible,
Is there precedent for that in other than places attached to businesses?
I haven't seen any municipalities charge for dog park.
No, I don't think there's any precedent for that. It's mostly, for profit.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, but I'm just thinking of how to
Great.
answer some of the questions.
I suppose a follow-up question for you then, Summer, would be, would they be opposed to a dog park that is not attached to like a residential area, a park where there are lots of people, like somewhere where you have to drive to, like that location that's adjacent to George Key, like that's fine, nobody.
Right.
So would they be opposed to say that? Great.
Right, there you go, depending on location.
But it was my understanding that, people drive their dog to a dog park. It doesn't have to be local where you can walk to it, for the most part, people throw their dog in the car and drive to
Destination.
that destination type of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, those are the responsible people and they want to get their dog exercise, or
Right.
maybe they live in an apartment or a condo or have a small backyard like in Liberty Lake, and they're gonna drive some.
Or just want socialization for their dog? Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
I do have one thing to bring up. Nancy and I had a little bit of a conversation on this about a week ago. Do you want to share with the group what your general timeline is for this? The last I've heard is the town square master plan may be looked at around third, fourth quarter of the year at this point. What's your timeline if a survey were to be conducted? When would you want to have it started? When would you need to have results?
Well, if we make an ask to council to, at least in the master plan, build out one scenario, whether it's A, B, or C, with some kind of a pocket park, then I think we would need some kind of survey results for council to guide them, through what they might want to look at in a master plan. So that puts it at sooner. That said, the Parks and Arts Commission, I mean, we've budgeted out a few years now, and we don't have it on ours, but that's the master plan for Town Square, if they develop that this year, then how many more years after that, is it actually gonna become a developed park? So I think some kind of preliminary type of feeling the temperature of the community in whatever way you think would be best, to see if there's enough energy where council might consider asking somebody to massage that into a master plan just to see what it looked like. I mean, I'm guessing in master plans are gonna give you, we could do A, B, C, D, whatever it might be. And if a pocket dog park, and I would call it a pocket dog park, was in that, because there's only so much property, obviously, there. But I think feeling the pulse of the community is gonna be required before there's any action by council.
So time frame, when would you need to have a survey completed? To make your proposal?
Well, how often are you guys out at the farmer's market?
Every week.
It is every week.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, if you had some kind of informal survey somewhere in the course of the summer where the results were available in the fall, that to me would seem reasonable.
So available in fall.
Yeah,
so you don't really need us to jump on it Saturday.
no, I mean, it's still at the bottom of everybody's list. It's not, you know, a numbered item in anybody's strategic plan. But it is becoming more of a topic, as you see from the off-leash complaints in the city. And then also, from just all the conversations around our surrounding communities about people wanting off-leash parks.
Can I make one suggestion though? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do our survey July? The month of July, the 4 weeks in July, we'll do the survey, okay? Get it back to you in August. You do your presentation to the city council in August. Maybe they'll say yes, and you can get on the 2024 budget.
When's special?
Budgeting is October.
Oh, October, okay.
Just a thought. Don't know how quick you wanna go.
I
but-
mean, Parks and Arts, we have to have our budget ready by July or August because our new city manager is gonna be moving up the timeline a little bit. So
Oh, maybe that's true.
yeah,
I'm
I
just
think
going
that's
through.
ambitious. I don't expect to get
okay.
funding for a dog park this year. I expect it to be in the planning stages where it may be included in a master plan for town square. And, you know, if that doesn't go as a possibility, then starting the conversation is where could one go?
Okay.
I kind of think that's where we are.
So I was wondering if there's any evidence or in your experience, any evidence that is a synergy created between a park for children and an adjacent incorporated dog park? Is that a bad idea, or can that make it even more attractive?
Well, I mean, families bring their animals to the
Right.
park, and I mean, Newland Park in Coeur d'Alene is an ideal example of that, because you have their pocket park, you have the basketball court, you have the splash pad, you have the playground, and they're all, you know,
Which then leads me to, I wonder if part of our inquiry with, especially with the city, although with residents also, in the existing parks, is there any area that might be wisely repurposed for this pocket dog park?
Yeah.
Sounds
Well,
like,
it's the majority of the parks.
Oh,
the city.
It is the city.
Well, there's some HOA parks.
There are, okay.
Can I ask a quick question? Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Nancy, it sounds like, so it sounds like that you do have some time, and what if we pull together some type of a citizen or community plan, you know, that really looked at that participation plan, because it may include just, I mean, you know, a portion of it surveys, you know, you may want to have a workshop and do sort of like a timeline. Is that workable for you too?
No, I think that seems reasonable. Mhm.
Yeah, and so that you always have this plan flexible, depending on how the part, you know, whatever your results are from each particular means and method, and so that it can be ongoing, so that it can give you more information, and working on that plan first.
No, that seems reasonable.
Okay,
so can I throw something out?
Yeah.
So it sounds like from the timing standpoint, you'd like to do some sort of survey at some point this summer to be able to have some information back. It seems like, you know, with our meeting schedule and with your guys's, what might make sense in the interim period is create a subcommittee of some kind between our commission and Parks and Arts to develop a comprehensive survey that could be loaded into Zen City. You know, and then we could actually build out some questions that have some meaningful, can develop some meaningful content that can be actionable. You know, we can talk about, you know, potential locations. We can talk about, you know, we can find out, you know, within those surveys, whether they're dog owners or not, and how, you know, that skews results one way or the other. You know, and so I think that would be, from my standpoint, as we look at trying to figure out how to incorporate this with what we're doing with farmers markets and other information as far as surveying, creating a solid comprehensive survey would be a good starting place. And then from that, like Robin said, we can build out kind of a planning structure as far as how to incorporate the Zen City platform with potentially other avenues as far as being able to connect with folks within the city about the project. You know, I think it's been obviously in conversation, and I think, you know, I share some of the same concerns many others do, which is at some point in time, a kid's gonna get bit because somebody's just letting their dog run off leash. And I would hate for that to be the impetus for the creation of a dog park. I'd rather have it come out of something positive and the city coming forward and doing something because it's a need within the community, and we all see it. That would be my recommendation, is developing a subcommittee. We can, you know, that we might be able to work on some of these pieces, and then bring recommendations back to either commission for kind of review, continued discussion and execution.
And I want to make sure that we keep the community aspect, and Mara is a great representative of that as a Liberty Lake business owner. And should be in
Yeah, I
that
agree.
conversation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because,
Yeah, we can add, I think adding community stakeholders in those conversations like Mara is, you know, is absolutely important. You know, still keeping it concise and small, because we can get really big really fast. But yeah.
and I also think, hey, Aaron, I like that, but I also think that would be, you know, inclusive of, you know, how we include the business partners as a part of that overall plan, you know, and structure that so we can get a good community participation from everybody.
Many. QR codes.
Little dog stamps on.
Oh, so many dog stands.
dog pictures.
Oh, yeah, we're getting those emails, all right? We're gonna-
I make a motion that Aaron represent the CEC on the subcommittee.
Oh, I was gonna pull Mark into this.
Oh, no.
I will second that.
Yeah,
Mark will-
Cricket.
Oh, it's Jen.
Aaron, you wanna do this with me?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Just for,
Official sake.
was that an official motion or just?
Do we need?
Nah, it was
Okay.
okay.
No, but I think Aaron and I will,
I think
we'll
Aaron
do our
puts
best.
his lead, so.
Yeah, appreciate that. I like how we're the dweebs. But yeah, so it sounds like Aaron and I will communicate with you, but just so far, it's already been in our big list and we've seen a lot of traction already. I mean, that's, so I don't think this is a hard ask from us. You know, it's just about figuring out our timeline. And I think just getting it on the agenda so we can get some progress one way or another.
Yeah, just starting the conversation, and then can I count on you, Mark, then to come to Parks and Rec? I mean, not to necessarily talk about dog parks, but to talk about how we can, you know, engage the community to get all kinds of feedback for what they want to see in Parks and Rec.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Those meetings are open
I'd like to
the
come to that too with you, Mark.
Okay, Robin.
Yes,
Yeah, you're,
Because
are you
I
gonna
have a lot
come
of-
physically,
yeah.
or are you gonna be on Zoom?
She's just in it for the dogs.
Are those meetings here?
Yes.
Just here for the dogs.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you both. Oh, absolutely.
Beginning of a beautiful friendship.
I was just making sure when I.
Yeah. Do you have any dogs or cats?
All right, have dogs.
David, from an officially, do we need, do the subcommittee meetings need to have some formal roll call? I just want to make sure we're done.
Let me check in on that, because I've not had to address that.
And I mean, technically, if there's two of us, it's not a
I was
quorum.
gonna say, if there's like two of us and we hit a Starbucks, one of us is using a laptop.
It is June fifth at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Right.
Great.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That's it, thank you.
You're
very
gonna
much.
see it twice a week.
I know. Well, then you're gonna see me more because my better half is now going into the office here. You're gonna see me a lot more.
You know, really, since the two, here's my interpretation, I will ask about this. Since the two of you are not a quorum of the whole group, it's just the two of you meeting,
Right,
having a conversation,
And we have precedent for that as well.
yes.
but I will confirm that.
I'm thinking you're right, I just
Good
wanna make
question.
sure that we're not doing anything wonky that is
Yes,
gonna
you-
potentially cause issues down the road.
Controversy.
Oh, no, it's a dog park, it's gonna be controversial.
City Hall updates coming up here.
Oh, my goodness.
City Hall updates, David, you wanna go through them?
I'm not gonna go through everything, but I'm hoping everybody just at least read through these.
We did.
If you have any questions, let me know. Some of these will inform some of your later items on the agenda of this meeting. I do have a couple updates that I knew I would have to give orally. These are like the community engagement type emphasis ones that I at least wanted you to know about in case the public asks you a question, or is this an opportunity that some future engagement could occur through. Updates, a couple updates from last night's city council meeting. The city council members have been discussing for a couple of months about their level of participation at farmers market this year, with 6 of the 7 members being up on, or 6 of the 7 positions being up for ballot on the election this year. 1 position is not up for election. So there was the question of, should incumbents who are running be out there? Is that or is that not an unfair advantage to other candidates who may have also applied who don't have that opportunity? And there were comments made on both sides. So Mark, you were there, and correct me if I'm wrong in what I interpreted last night. But there was at least an initial vote, which it's kind of sounded like there was gonna be a follow-up, maybe at the next meeting or so. Initial vote to request that the members who are running unopposed be able to continue to help station the farmers market booth. And there was also part of that there would be some sort of signage up there, just informing the public that any engagement with candidates who are up for election should not be covering anything election related. Whether
I think it was more so, David, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think it was more so no election discussion at
yes,
all.
yes,
No matter what.
including campaign
Including us.
That sounds
contributions.
great.
So just for your information, the filing deadline is this Friday. So we will know by, Friday evening, who all has applied for mayor, who all has applied for 6 of the 7 city council positions. And I think there's also a sewer commission opening, or rather,
That has nothing-
election
Yeah. That has nothing to do.
that affects future voting for this area.
But the outcome of this was, the vote went for, like you said, just the ones that are not being, challenged, for reelection. And so far, the only one that is under that umbrella is the mayor. So if no one throws their hat in Friday, she will be at the booth.
She'll be able to be there, but the
Yeah.
rest of the commissioners. could-
Nope, Tom Sauber will be there because
Oh, yeah, that's right, he's not up for.
he's not running. So those 2 will be able to attend. As for the way it's written right now, the rest will not, because everyone else is being opposed.
Interesting.
Yep.
Cool.
And then just to keep you informed of another topic of public discussion, there's been this ongoing consideration. Was there a comment?
Oh, I just got a call.
Bill's phone. There's been an ongoing consideration of doing some revisions to the city's library ordinance. And last night, shortly before 11 p.m.
Yes.
Did I really go that late again?
It did go just 2 minutes before.
Watch the highlights.
It's all available on Zoom if you want to watch the whole proceedings, but it was a vote 4-3 to approve the proposed updates, revisions, etc. And for your information, that does not necessarily conclude this topic of discussion. The mayor has the options to sign the ordinance and then have it enacted, not sign it. And after a period of several days, it will go into effect. And there's also the option of a mayor veto. and she did indicate during the meeting that, she didn't really know for sure where she was weighing in on this. She indicated she was kind of sort of starting to lean one way, but she really didn't know where she was yet. But she was hoping to make some sort of a decision by the end of the week.
Yeah.
And then another thing, a potential community outreach topic. Contracts were authorized last night with 3 individuals, 3 separate contractors for fitness classes in the park starting this summer, as well as a, want to make sure I get the name correct here. An agreement for some children's classes in the park provided by an organization called Think, Play, Speak. So once I have details on that, there'll be something on the website, possibly on any kind of city summer activities calendar we might be doing as well. Again, I'm not going to read through everything else.
Real quick, just going back to the library piece, just for this weekend, is there like a short FAQ that folks who are gonna be there this
I
weekend?
can provide you some.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be there, but I think Mark was.
I appreciate it,
Bill,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't wanna get, I mean, yeah, I mean, it hit the news this morning on BBC, so.
Well, and really, did I forget to give you a sheet?
Yes, you did.
You know, I moved it around, I was thinking, I'm not sure I gave you.
Well, it's not this like, there was a pile from the summary of city conference, I'm like, this is not what we.
I initially had that when we were sitting over there to move the thing, the name tag.
The chief would be helpful.
I probably will not be able to get you that till end of the day, Monday, after we find potentially what we hear from the mayor on this, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't really worry about it. You know, the mayor will be there. If there's any questions concerning the library bill, you and I can refer them to the bill, or this.
Okay.
But I at least want you to be informed that what happened last night, so you're at least at that level of
Right.
knowing what's occurred in the process. Am I doing, I'm not doing the iPad yet, okay, let's see, everything else there, I think, I don't think, did I have any updates on anything else there? Any other questions on any of the other materials?
No, the responses looked good though, 230
Yeah.
isn't bad for first go.
I will add that Mark McAvoy, he saw those numbers and he was saying, if I thought we would have had 230 before farmer's market, he said I never would have imagined.
Yeah, I mean, that's really good for like a soft push just on social media, and then you probably pick up a couple more hundred over the next couple of
We
weeks.
had, first couple of days, I think each day was a little over 30.
Mhm.
I mean, just announcing it over Facebook.
Yeah,
And then every 2 weeks, I'm remarketing it. I'm not gonna do it every week because people get tired of it and lose interest. So I'm gonna find a different way to market this thing every, probably Thursday or Friday. When I did the first round of the remarketing last Friday, we had another 31 people that day respond to the survey, which was close to one of the initial days.
nice.
So 230 in, and we got like 6 weeks to go.
Oh, yeah,
That's awesome.
Awesome, great.
And we haven't even started farmer's market.
that's right.
How many houses are in Liberty Lake again?
Hmm?
How many households are in Liberty Lake again?
Households,
Like 2,000?
Fine.
5,000? 5,000?
I feel like it's a trivia question.
hey. Right that way.
Podcast.
Craig Howard told me, he says 5,000, but that includes, apartments.
Okay.
And in fact, for you two fellows, I do have an update already for the talking points. I neglected to include some information about some construction work coming up on the slip lane near Walgreens.
Yeah, that's.
Stuff's gonna be happening with that here in a couple of weeks.
Are they finally closing it off?
Yep.
Nice. That's been the worst forever.
Yeah, close for about 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
And can I request the cliffhanger, from the, in the news? The in the news,
I was the overly interviewed person in May.
with a bonus interview question that we can only get if we request it.
Oh, yes, yeah, Greg Howard had this really fun last question, after talking with me on the phone. And the way he does this is he talks with the person on the phone, we talk for like an hour. And then he sends me about 10 questions I'm supposed to respond to by email. And based on some of the conversation, he had a particularly interesting final question, and I gave a hopefully more interesting final answer to that. And I think just because of space, they cut it out. So if anybody wants,
I'd like to
Great
request,
last
I'd like to request.
I will
that
send it out to
statement.
the whole group.
Oh, please do.
I was disappointed to see that question was not in print.
All right, iPad, we had an iPad yet? Strategic plan survey, iPad. iPad operations.
Oh, okay, so I just wanted to make sure, I don't know to what degree anybody is using iPads, so I just want to make sure everybody's on the same basic playing field, particularly you two guys who are in the batter's box first on Saturday. So we're gonna have 2 of these available. We will have 1 charging cord. I'm not quite sure how long the battery stays in operation on this, but our IT guy and I were over there today to make sure the internet works there. It did work.
Okay.
So it's surprisingly simple how to operate this. The power button, if you hold it with this circle at the bottom, the power button is in
Yeah,
this
I know
up
where the power
corner.
button is.
Bill,
I like that.
We're good,
Yeah,
we're good,
good.
we got it.
Okay,
How do we, when we get into it?
so
What are we doing on it?
turn this on. There's a passcode. I'm not gonna say it publicly because we're being recorded. I will tell you after the meeting.
Okay,
And then once you go through the passcode, there will be some apps at the bottom. The app you want to look for is a circle with a line at the circular line at the top, circular line at the bottom. I will send you like a screenshot of that.
that's
Just
good.
all you gotta do is push that app and boom, you're to the website where the survey starts. And if you've done the survey, you know what to do.
Okay,
great.
That is it.
And then you, on the back end, you turned off the single source or
I've left it off permanently because I'm thinking households, husband and wife.
yeah, who might.
We want them both to do the survey.
sure.
Great, thank you.
Any questions on how to operate an iPad?
Nope, just make sure
No.
it's fully charged when they arrive.
Tom Sauber just texted me and he said that he'll bring a portable charger also.
Great.
So, there'll be a QR code there that we would?
Oh, yeah, good question. So in addition to the iPads, we're gonna have 2 other ways for people to engage. And this was, it's interesting to see how this idea at this point has transformed. We went from Cynthia's virtual coin idea to get discounts from stores and whatnot, to the idea last meeting of, could we print out some sort of paper token with the QR code?
Right.
And then internally in staff, we just thought, well, we've got a printer here on staff. We don't need to go on site to
Thank you.
pay to have circles cut out. So we have things people can take away, take home.
Okay,
It has the QR code, it has our slogan we're using, take 5 minutes to help shape the next 5 years of Liberty Lake. Has the website address, and we're gonna be keeping this link on the top of the homepage for several more weeks.
Okay.
So if somebody doesn't wanna do it on their iPhone, they can get the big review on their computer, take this home, take the survey at home. We will also we're gonna be having the easel board there with a big display with the QR code.
good, that was my next question.
With this website
Right,
address,
perfect.
and that easel display will be including all of the main questions that people will be answering, so they can see, oh yeah, I wanna give my response of what I'm most satisfied about at Liberty Lake.
Okay,
Or I wanna give my response of what I would like to see in the future of Liberty Lake. I'm not gonna be putting like a demographic questions like, do you live in the city or not? I mean,
no,
that's
No,
not gonna attract anybody.
thank you.
But it's laid out, I just need to paste it together, and that will be available as 3 ways to get people to see the survey.
Perfect. Could you and I get together on Friday sometime, so you can go over everything that's gonna be there?
Certainly,
So Bill and I get together on Saturday morning, we can walk and talk.
and
So we
yeah.
feel comfortable.
Sure.
And last I heard, the mayor was planning to collect everything into the those famous plastic bins.
Oh, yeah, that's their job.
iPads will be in there,
Okay.
everything, all the other materials.
Will the CEC have their own container? I think we should this year.
Let me ask about that.
Please,
Yep.
we need a tub,
We need our
we
own.
need a tub, a tote.
Yep, our own.
And if you have requested items, I know Robin is probably in this camp. If you have requested items you would like to see in there, please just email
A
me.
giant whiteboard will not fit in the tub room.
Yeah.
Can you get a tear off sheet in there? I mean, the giant
Yeah.
sticky note?
We need scissors, that's all I'm saying, scissors.
Robin's raising her hand. on
Yeah.
Supplies, supplies, guys. New markers,
Yeah, just, again, just send me an email and we'll do what we can to get you supplies. I will ask tomorrow about, well, probably Friday, about, getting a separate bin for everybody.
Yeah, that'd be great. Not for everybody, just for us.
Well, you are everybody.
We all need seven bins.
Don't forget your badge.
Don't be, you got mine, I
Don't
got
forget
it.
to wear your badge.
Which one? I think we have 3 of them.
Hey, all of them.
So we look like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts.
Everybody should have the pin back and then the,
Flipping
or-
thing.
I think we're doing the one with my picture on that.
I love that, it's
That's
official.
my name.
All right, anything else, farmer's market?
With the US Golf.
city information reports, like I said, I sent those out to you folks, but I think, I sent that out to everybody. didn't I?
Yeah.
Just to, you know. And I will, do what I can to give you the most updated version I can on Friday. You know, with, city government candidates as well as, what we find out with this ordinance as well.
What about putting out on Facebook and any one of your wonderful releases, something about engaging with us
So
there?
this will be happening, that will be coming out.
Okay, great.
And then, the master schedule, I'm gonna go back to, reviving the resource that Aaron referred us to last summer. I've started the process of putting everybody's names on there, so it'll be very similar to last year, although I've kind of enhanced it. I've decided, I don't think last year we had the opportunity to put 2 names in the same time slot, so I'm,
Wow.
and because like this weekend, we've got 2 guys there for 4 hours. So I've set it up so that there's a 2-hour block A and a 2-hour block B, and then the next 2-hour block A and B, so. If we have days where some of you wanna be there for a full 4 hours, as long as somebody else, yeah, you can sign up for that. I will try to send that out to everybody tomorrow.
Should we decide tonight, though, at least the next 3, maybe, we already know Saturday, but the next 2 Saturdays, should we get? I don't know.
I don't have an answer, but I do love signing up on this little sheet,
Okay, okay.
personally.
But my question is, what if no one signs up? We're good.
Well, then he keeps emailing us.
Yeah,
I mean, that did, I mean, that is how it kind of did. I eventually, I was like unsure on the fence a few times. When I saw no one was not signing up, I made sure that I did.
I think we ought to, then, if you want, I can bring it up at the Parks and Art, Commission. I think they ought to be participating in this.
have they been there last year at all?
Hell, I don't care, I don't
I don't know,
know.
then we had
We
library.
had library, we had Kiwanis, we had
I know some school people were there.
school, Rotary was there, yeah.
Library.
I don't think Parks and Art's ever been there, but I think they should be.
Mhm.
They're a viable asset to the city, so.
Well, especially with this many things that they have.
Absolutely, they got that big coop thing going on right now, that's huge, so. Just about, okay.
Robin, did you want to say anything on your work? I'm sorry, you're in charge of the meeting.
I'm not, I love this. Robin.
About, well, okay, so I'm going back to, you mean on the master schedule? So
Yeah,
the,
your work plan
or for the
2022.
farmer's market, so I was trying to sort of put one together. Because I know that we have other entities, I mean, Friends of the Library, and I think Mark mentioned the Parks and Arts, and sort of, I think that's a good idea to try and keep that together so we know the parties who are gonna be there, you know, week after week.
What about your work plan there, Robin?
Okay, yeah, they better have a copy of the work plan. I'm keeping that up to date on a spreadsheet. And-
Robin, I did not, I should have, I really should have, I did not print it out. I can email it out though, I did not know if that was printable or not. I will pour that out, Rob, I'm not sure, you didn't do it yourself, did you?
For work.
What?
You didn't set out your Excel sheet, did you?
Not to the group, I just sent it to you.
I neglected to do that, I was, give that to everybody.
It's on the agenda. Okay, anything you wanna update about that, Robin, or are we just waiting for the spreadsheet and we'll discuss it at our next meeting?
Yeah, well, David, if you could send out the spreadsheet And then if anybody has comments or revisions, I'd love to have them. I'm trying to keep this up for us so that we know, because we have a lot of things now going on, and like now we have more things on the dog park. There'll be a subcommittee. And so that will be added in on there. We'll soon have the town hall plaza. And so that'll be expanding, but it'll keep everybody updated.
Before we get it, is there a place on your spreadsheet, or if there isn't, for specific point people, like right now, it looks like me and Aaron for this,
Something.
whatever we're gonna officially call it or non-officially call it, do we have a point person sort of space in your spreadsheet?
Yeah, I believe that there is one.
Great.
If there's
thank you.
not, we can easily revise it, and I
Great, I
can.
just think that as we're all looking at it, that'll be super helpful. Cool, thanks.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah, Robert, I apologize about sending that out. I should have done that.
Bad, David.
How dare you? Mailers,
Was that a continued conversation?
It's,
last
it was
thing
kind
we're
of
gonna
a,
I know.
and you know, I guess I would ask for both that one as well as the coin tokens thing is this something you want to keep on every agenda, or should it only be brought up if somebody says, yes, I have a new addition or a new idea for this?
I think we ought to just test the waters with Zen City at the farmer's market for the first couple of months. And kind of table these two things. Maybe some that we address in the fall. That if we need to do something with the mailer, to start something up with the coins. Now, we could possibly start the coins midsummer at, mid farmer's market, but I think we've pretty much got our plates full right now with what we've got going on, so.
Well, not really having a budget for either one of them.
Well,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
printouts that you have, I mean, I think are
I mean,
more than sufficient for what we would need for this.
Yep.
For what we're doing right now,
Yeah.
I agree.
And maybe this is work plan 2023 going back for a second too. I can't imagine it's not there, but something for just sort of budget stuff, which these would include, if we can just kind of have a running list of things that we might want to, when we have a chance to be cared about in the budget, that these are things that we would be considering, or types of things. It might not be this mailer, but another one. So if we could keep a running list in the work plan of budgetable things, I think that might be helpful too, if it's not already there.
There is a list in the column I put in there, Summer, and it did on estimated costs so that we would have that.
And yeah, I would expect no less.
And could you find out for us, David, when we need to get our budget into?
That would be interesting.
I've heard it was usually October, but you kind of indicated,
We're going right now, we're here in October, we're here, I heard
yeah.
July and August. We just need to know, because we don't want to be on the outside.
Ooh,
looking
a
in.
deadline and important dates column in
Absolutely.
our Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have some priority function up there.
I know.
Robin, I know you do, but that would be helpful for us too, if we could prioritize by.
I agree. Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to develop this, is to get everybody's input so that we can make it a better document.
Yeah, and anything we have from David, like those things is super
Yeah,
helpful.
we just need to, like, we gotta find out when it needs the budget, our numbers need to be turned in. So the meeting prior to that, we need to focus just on budget too.
So, I just want to be clear, so city council starts their budgeting process in October, is that right?
Yeah.
So that would make sense then, why Mark would want stuff in July.
And we
So-
might be similar to how that works.
And we're gonna want, we're gonna be in need to, so then I would make a recommendation that at our next meeting, we talk 24 budget.
I agree.
Because
Anyone-
that-
If it's July. If it's.
well, even if it's August,
Yeah, you know,
we should
whatever.
probably take it first run at it, and
Sure.
at least have some things that,
sounds
Be an
good.
ongoing discussion.
yeah, I mean, at least we.
Hopefully it is that we could have two meetings and discuss the budget.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that gives you another meeting or two to flesh it out, add to it, think about it.
Okay, other than budget stuff, anyone else have stuff for next agenda?
Well, I just wanted to confirm, is the group okay with having the mailers and the tokens not on the agenda every month
I'm good,
versus
I'm good. with
Yeah.
it.
bring it back if somebody says, hey, I wanna talk about
And
this.
I think we should have the work plan on our agenda,
meeting.
every
Yeah.
agenda, unless anyone has any issues with that.
No, gotta keep Robin happy.
Yes, we do. There's no.
Candy, Robin.
Yes, I'm making you look good. That's my plan. My plan is to make everyone so happy when you're back with your.
No candy, no cupcakes, no nothing, Robin.
The
Oh,
badger.
no, no, treat you guys.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
And also talking about future work, and really I should have said this when we were talking about farmers market, but I want to make sure I have all the initial handouts that you folks think that should be out there. So we have these little mini things about the strategic plan survey. We have a reduced size version of the spring events calendar. I'm trying to get it smaller, but the type just.
No, that's
great.
Please.
And then we will also be having, we have the Memorial Day programming coming up here in a couple Mondays.
Yep,
So we'll be having a couple of large versions of this out on display.
good.
The program for that event at Pavilion Park. Are there any initial other handouts you think you people need for the first couple of Saturdays?
No, but can I make a request? As much as she loves her whiteboards, I love binders. Do you think we can have a binder that shows up here with all of our little handouts that you've been accumulating and doing for our meetings sometime?
What do you need a binder for?
All of the adorable handouts that you have in your
Oh.
little stack. If we could have a notebook of that shows up at our thing or lives in our tub.
Yeah, lives in
A
a
folder, it doesn't, just a reference.
something to keep your materials in.
You, not individual ones, just for the group, so you have your, you have all these things that you're referencing over there. It would be great if you show up 10 minutes early to a meeting or stay 10 minutes after, we have a little place to look at those outside of,
Okay,
whatever.
so not notebooks for each.
No,
No,
just,
just one.
it would live in the tub,
The tub, no,
You want a notebook or a tub?
yeah, and you can.
No, well, no,
In the tub, in the
we
tub.
want both of them. We need a tub to hold the notebook.
How
Where
about
do you
big,
put the
big old
scissors?
docket?
Say.
Yes, we need a tub with supplies and scissors and tape and everything, David. And that, and also a binder.
No, and again, we can all remind everyone, you could just show up at the meeting and take a picture of the thing. We don't need more copies of stuff. Just if you have that, that'd be great for us to.
Yeah.
Have. That's it. That's all I got. Anything else for next agenda that we need for our June 21st meeting?
Jennifer, did you want to bring up your proposal about revising meeting dates for the summer?
Oh, yeah.
Discussing with the group.
Yes,
She's causing problems.
I got some scheduling problem.
Oh,
Anything as Zoom?
I can't make the next 3 meetings.
that sounds like a personal problem to me.
I'm gonna go with Aaron's wife.
Oh. You're
So
funny, huh?
is there any
There you go.
way for June? For 2 of them, 2 out of 3 of them. Is there any way that we can bump the June 21st meeting up a week? Because golf starts on the 21st.
Oh,
Let me check.
And does anybody know,
That probably works better for me.
does anybody know what Cynthia's schooling schedule is?
Did you know?
I also don't know what else is scheduled in here
on the 14th.
Also, the 14th is Flag Day.
The-
That
the week-
cause problems for us here.
The week before that, I think planning commission meets here 4 o'clock. If they go to 6 o'clock, could be a little hairy.
Are they on Wednesdays?
I think they're on Wednesdays.
Go check with Lisa and find out. Because if, I don't care, shit, doesn't matter, if we do 13th or the 14th, I don't care.
I like Wednesdays, but,
Wednesdays do work.
I gotta do Wednesday.
I'm.
Yeah, Wednesday would work for me on June 14th.
Like that,
I'm expecting to be out of town. That'll be-
Tom just let me know that the planning commission does meet on Wednesdays at 4 o'clock.
The second Wednesday.
Yes.
So as
And
long
then
as they don't go
Bill
more
just
than 2
said
hours.
he's out of town.
Bill's out.
And another day of the week is an option as well.
I have 0 other days.
So you're confined to Wednesdays?
If I'm the only one, and I'm not certain of that schedule, I'm okay with going ahead and. I mean, it's not like you're just stymied if I'm not here.
I'm
So,
sorry.
Jen, are you saying for the next 3 months, the third Wednesday is?
No, it doesn't have to do with the 3rd Wednesday. So golf starts on the 21st, so that's.
So it is golf.
In July, we'll be out of town for 3 weeks of July, so That's one of them, and
Well, don't
then,
worry about it, I'm out of town too, so it doesn't matter.
and then August is golf.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I gotta tell you, in July, the 19th, I have nothing going on the 19th except for a meeting here. Now, the week before.
and July can stay, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm,
okay, we can keep July, that's good, because the week before, we're on the Oregon coast, and the week after, we're at Little Diamonds.
okay. Yeah, if anything, if we need me for a form or something, I can zoom in or something on the 19th.
So let's keep that the same, and can we go with, the 14th on June? Does that work?
And the 21st, you can't zoom on the 21st, is that right?
No, I'll be
Golf.
golfing.
Your golf. I didn't know if it was, I.
My wife's fault.
What golf course you guys at?
No, they're golf lessons. I'm taking golf lessons with Bonnie
Yeah.
Where at?
and Sarah.
Oh, in Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah doesn't need golf lessons.
Well, I
She
took golf
used to work
lessons.
on a golf course.
Well,
So
she
where-
wanted to come.
Where are you taking?
Fair.
No,
And
where
where
are
are
you
you taking the
taking
lessons? Aaron, who am I taking the lessons from?
Oh, I can't remember who the instructor is. Is that?
Katrina? Is it
Oh,
Katrina?
literally like
I think Katrina's.
I don't know who Katrina is, but her name is,
Karina.
Karina.
or Karina.
So do we want to go on the 14th without Bill?
Well, if Bill were here, great, if not. we'll-
And
we'll talk
potentially.
about it.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to hear from my
Okay.
kids,
So Bill, you're maybe not available.
just maybe.
Okay.
Would you maybe be available by Zoom?
Well, I'm gonna have about 10 grandkids running around.
Or they can join us.
We're fine with that.
They try to join this meeting.
We were fine with that too.
I did that one Zoom meeting with my kids and David had to tell me.
So are you?
I was just mainly asking because I'm just thinking, we could, the trade-off of one person versus another person, but if you're a maybe.
Right.
Yeah,
That's not quite the same
so
thing.
we can, I'll know next week or so, and I can also with this arrange to be available, for that time. Yeah, we'll work.
We're gonna figure it out. Okay, so.
If
Next
if
meeting will be on the
we
14th.
needed to bump it,
Well, we-
like
and
6:30,
Cynthia,
would that
too.
help you or you were
Cynthia.
saying?
I'm in a different time zone, so go ahead.
Just in light.
Whatever you guys. Yes, that's true.
And Cynthia as well, we have to consider, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we need to,
Final
do we need to table it for now until?
I already moved it.
Are we,
Already moved.
okay, so,
I think we need to make a motion.
Yeah.
can we all, deal with making a motion for this? Anyone?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move the meeting to June 14th to the next one.
I second that.
Okay, fine. Mark seconds it. All right, all in favor of moving it to the 14th? Say
Aye.
And all opposed? Robin, did you, I didn't get Robin in there in that vote.
Robin, what was your vote?
Uh,
Looks like we may have lost.
Oh, no, okay.
There's-
Robin was that an aye or?
What?
To move our,
Yeah, that was fine. You know what? You guys are fading. Sometimes it just freezes, but aye,
Thank you.
for the 14th.
Passes.
On the count, it really just freeze.
Okay, anything else before we, blow this popsicle stand?
Only some.
All right, we're gonna make a motion to end this meeting, or are we just gonna?
No, you just ended. You want to do that all another time?